So something else that I read with Project 2025 that's just bothersome to me. Um, so they have one of their advisory boards, and their advisory boards are the ones that'll do the training. One of the things that's really annoying, because there's many speeches that Charlie Kirk gives that I've even posted because I agree with him on, and one of them is about this. It's unnecessary to have all this higher education. So then what I wonder is why he's a hypocrite and gets on board with an organization that everybody that's behind this has all this higher education, huh? Woe to you, hypocrites. But putting that aside, so they've been meeting with congressional staffers. Can you believe this shit? 'Cause they're lobbyists, really. Yeah, last fall they met, and Charlie Kirk's wife was involved in this. She's the director of the Center of Law and the Human Person at CUA. I forget what CUA is. But anyway, this was they picked a limited number of congressional staffers who have been accepted to the program through the application process. It will be a box lunch affair for 1 hour at the location on Capitol Hill. In 10 lectures through the lens of natural law, we will consider the relation of the family to our nation's founding documents and today's legal and political environment. So I understand what they're trying to do. The left, cultural Marxism is about destroying the family unit. I mean, so that's happened for sure. So they're trying to counterbalance that with this, but this isn't the way to go about it. But then it's higher educated people involved. So they want to try to go back doors to congressional staffers. No, what they really should be advocating for is dismantling most of the health agencies, dismantling, obviously, Department of Ed, dismantling most of the health agencies, and then the money that was being put towards all those agencies, put it towards these inner city where the hoods are, where the poverty areas are. Because in order to restore to keep the family intact the best you can, you have to pull people out of poverty. Okay? So instead of just going and talking to congressional staffers and promoting your agenda or telling them how best to write document, I mean, this is what the higher education, it's like, just fix the fucking problem. It shouldn't be this hard. I mean, I've seen this forever in nursing. It's like, how many meetings do we have to have before we can just go and let's just fix the problem? Seriously. But no, we have to have all these meetings. It's like the higher educated are never about actually doing the solution. Because it'll be years before you're allowed to, attempt something that could be the solution. Only the people that are not higher educated understand that, no, let's just get in there and do this. Okay, so if you want to restore the family, you have to start by raising up the poverty areas. The politicians, especially in blue cities, have left the poverty areas in place because it's empowering to them. It is. It's the reason why. Because it would be easy to pull those areas up out of poverty. They don't want to, because it also keeps that race division going. But they would be easy to pull up out of poverty. But everybody that comes along, whether it's the Rainbow Coalition and Jesse Jackson or all of them, they just pocket the money. They're total losers, okay? They never actually pull those areas up. But if we had people that actually did pull those areas up out of poverty and keep them out of poverty, then you're going to have a better chance of keeping the family unit intact in those areas. Then what you also have to do is start the defunding of total cut funding to the Department of Children and Family Services, because that's literally Satan watching your children, or children with Satan, the state. Literally, because it's not good. And the Department of Children and Family Services is not good in any state. It's not. It's an overwhelmed system, but it's deliberately overwhelmed, and it's tied to, again, the federal. So it traffics children. It's involved in the worst kind of stuff. That's why nobody stays. So something needs to be done about that. So these are all areas, instead of meeting with congressional staffers, if Project 2025 was truly wise, they would be advocating for some of the things I just mentioned, that we defund most of the health agencies and put that money towards fixing the poverty areas in cities. Obviously, you have to get rid of, obviously the mayors and governors that just want to keep their cities in poverty. But I think that would be easily done with once you can pull these cities up out of poverty. And in order to do that, the money truly has to go towards them. And then you have to get rid of the Department of Children and Family Services, and maybe a community-based system of some kind can help house these children. I think there's probably many people either that can't have children, that are good people that would take children in. I mean, they pay people to take children in. It's just they tend to find the worst people to put these kids with. It's very sad. Not all, because I know people that do that for, like that have taken foster kids in and they're good people. But in my career, I've seen mostly they put them with people that are just after money and they don't care about the kids. That's not going to help the family, because you have to care about those kids that don't have a family. So that's part of the reason I have a problem with this seminar they did on Constitution and family is that they said under their justice, one of the bullet points under justice says the family, not the individual, is the fundamental unit of society. Excuse me? Then what does that say for all those children that don't have a family? What does that say for divorced people that can't have children? The family unit, not the individual, is the fundamental unit of society? Bullshit. Our Constitution was about the individual. I think what their fear is no, it can't be about the individual because of the transgender stuff. But what the problem here is, the transgender stuff is a collective, and so is the far right. So this is the far right. That's why I don't support it. It's about collectivism, but a collectivism on the far right. And they seem to be partial towards families, right? But they don't understand Jesus and they don't understand the Constitution. It's not like it's going to matter what I'm going to say, right? And personally, I think who's behind a lot of this, why these people get a platform, is it's General Flynn. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess Trump supports General Flynn. I don't know. Does he? I have no idea. I don't really care. If it comes to be that Trump's going to support all this, then really it's not about some of us. Like that's how, the way I would look at it, is that it's about what these people want, and that's always how the government's going to be, right? Is that these, you're told you get a say, but in the end you really don't. The very fact, though, that they're already meeting with congressional staffers is disturbing to me, because it's the lobbyists, that's what they're doing. They're being lobbyists. I don't care what their excuse is. They should be promoting defunding all of these Department of Children and Family Services, most of the health departments. Obviously, they do support ending the Department of Ed, but that's all they support. So in order to truly fix it, they don't really have ideas. They just say that these are the things we need to do, and that the Constitution is about God and family. The Constitution is about the individual and God. And if they understood Jesus, then they would understand that when Jesus's word spread, it spread because the Holy Spirit became ignited in people. That's what happened. That's why I've never understood the people that go to door or stand on the street corner and do that stuff, because it annoys everyone. Is because God did not want you to do those things that annoyed people. God would determine who would be filled with the Holy Spirit, and it was usually the people that were drawn to hearing what people had to say about Jesus's word. That's usually how it would happen. And so I wouldn't expect the Heritage Foundation to understand that, because in order to understand the Constitution, you truly have to understand God. Yeah, it goes hand in hand. So they don't understand God. Woe to them. They're hypocrites. I mean, seriously, why do you have all the higher educated behind all of this? The higher educated are not the best people to just go in and fix these problems. It'll be years before they do anything, and it does not have to be years. So I'm all about restoring the family unit and promoting that. But the way Project 2025 wants to go about it is not the answer, because, again, they're not their intent isn't really in the right place.